artist waves. We making waves, 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 artist waves.
All right. We making waves, 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 artist waves. What's up, everybody? Jeff Gora from Artist Waves here. Welcome to AW Live and a special edition, 50th episode. 50th time I've sat here in my home studio since April of 2020 and conducted an interview through Instagram Live. And let me first just say, aside from the fact that these are so much fun, that I really appreciate how much positive feedback and how much positive energy and all of the people that have participated and engaged in these interviews and these conversations. We've had so many different artists, so many different genres, so many different countries and walks of life that have either joined us live in the interview or have either participated and been a guest. So thank you. It's been awesome. I love it. So guess what? We're just going to keep going. And it's fitting, it's very appropriate that today, for the 50th time that we've conducted an interview in this format, it's going to be with a great friend, a group that's a great friend of Artist Waves, and they're even better people, 311. Chad Sexton, drummer from 311, is going to join us, and we're going to talk all about the live stream that they are doing on Friday, which is the record From Chaos. And we're going to talk all about the 20th anniversary and all the great things that 311 continues to do. So I think that they're here. I think Chad is here. He's going to join us from the 311 account. So Chad, I'm going to send you the request to, oh, you've sent me one. Let's do it. On Bourbon Alley, feeling low, but feeling great. Here we go. Oop, that's my end. Hey, Chad.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing pretty good. How's it going over there?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for joining Artist Waves. It's great to speak to you again, man. It's happy Monday morning.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
I was doing a little intro here, and I was saying how we've conducted our interviews in this format since kind of everyone went into quarantine in April of last year, and it's we're now on episode 50, which is kind of wild to me to be going this long and to continue to do this. So I'm stoked that you're our 50th conversation in this format, because they've gone over really well, and there's a lot of positive vibes, as there always is.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, I'm glad you guys are having me. We're honored to be a part of this. Thank you.
Cool. Are you at the Hive right now? I see some cool equipment.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm at the Hive right now. Yeah, we're doing some rehearsals, getting ready for the stream on Friday. And so we always, tend to get ready about a week or so, week and a half or a week before we stream. We always got to brush up on the albums, Sometimes we're going pretty far back.
Yeah, this one in particular, I've enjoyed them all, but this one in particular is going to be something special to me in terms of the what the record From Chaos means. It's so cool that we're live from the Hive right now. All right.
Oh, yeah.
A little sneak peek into Friday night.
That's right. Yep.
How has so now being the sixth one, and obviously this was something that was somewhat improvised along the way. How have these live streams and doing these records in full, how have they been for you guys? Have you enjoyed it? What's been the feedback?
I think the feedback is pretty good. At least it's something, when we've had these live shows kind of taken away from us during this period. And so I think the feedback's pretty good, but we, as a musician, it's really, for me, interesting to, go back, especially, all the way to our first record and, sequentially play each record, because that I think is kind of rarely done, from bands or musicians. And so for me, it's been great to go review it and just really like a time capsule, just remembering what you were thinking, how you were living back then, you know, because there's a lot of time has passed, you know. So um, it's been a great experience for me, you know, because just reviewing all of our records, all, you know, and personally my drum parts. It's just been a fantastic thing, really. You know, I think it's a rare thing that bands take the time to go maybe play their entire records, and especially kind of sequentially, you know, and you can kind of remember what was going on at the time, or recording the actual albums, or, you know, just how life was basically back in the early days. Because on the early records, you know, we really weren't even on cell phones, and we weren't recording digitally or anything like that. So to recall, you know, going all the way back like that has just been a real great experience for me personally.
Yeah, that's great. And I know the fan feedback has been so extraordinary too, and it's been so well received and enjoyed. It's a unique perspective on the album, especially accompanied with the production that you put behind it. Uh,
Right.
so yeah, so it's been really, really fun. I remember we had Nick in November on. I've got to speak with Nick a few times, and he was saying it was right before the music live stream, and he was saying this is not something we want you to sit down on your couch and turn the lights off and grab a snack. He's like, no, you move the coffee table out of the way, you clear the room, and you grab
Yeah.
a drink, and you bring your friend or whoever lives with you, and you jump around. So it's, I think they've been taken that way too. It's fitting.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I'm just hoping at home, instead of like someone listening to it, say on their computer speakers, that, you know, they're kind of have a stereo system hooked up to what's going on, because it's so much more enjoyable to crank it up, and you just get, you know, kind of surrounded by the sound, because we're just miking everything up like we do a live show. So it's going over the internet that way. So if you have a system, you know, a stereo system, then it's a lot more enjoyable to listen to. So
Yep, you guys are, you're not responsible for any shattered windows that
no,
occur. They're welcome.
no,
Um, you know what's cool too is that obviously you guys are well known for mixing up your set lists and playing a unique show every night. That's been a 311 thing, a staple for as
hmm
long as you guys have toured. But so I'm assuming a lot of these songs from these streams are obviously ones that you know like the back of your hand. But to
yeah,
play them in sequential order, like they are listed on the record,
yeah.
that's got to be somewhat of a, I don't know if a challenge, but something like kind of fun to apply yourself to take yourself through track one all the way to 12, 13, and how they flow into each other. How has that experience been?
It's been great. I mean, as a musician, it's been great, because, you know, it's not just like going back last year or 2 years ago or even in this decade. So for me to review things that are so, I don't want to call them old, but, you know, that are back in the past, and it just kind of reminds you of that time period for me, you know, because that was a big part of our life, and usually it takes us quite a while to make a record, track a record, and you know, so just going over that, it's like a time capsule, you know, and it's just the weirdest thing, because it's almost like time traveling, you know. It's just going back to that time, really kind of remembering what it was and feeling what it was, and, you know, doing that whole process is just like I said, just really sort of gratifying almost for me personally. And it's just interesting. It makes it interesting to have to go back and review, you know, because my whole thing is like, I want to kind of play what I played on the records. You know, I don't want to, you know, make things up, or, you know, every now and then I can think, well, this drum part's just a tiny bit better than that last one on the record, and, you know, we laid it down 20 years ago, and it's kind of developed since then, because we take it uh, on the road and play it in front of people. And so you kind of learn, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done that drum part. Maybe I should do this adjustment on that drum part. So, but for the most part, I'm just trying to play what was on the record, so people, you know, can kind of get that template, but they get it kind of live, you know. And so I just, for me, like, all I can say is very gratifying, very enjoyable experience to take the time to go over the albums and play them all in order and stuff. So it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool. And this Friday, as we mentioned, is From Chaos, sixth record. And I was telling Peter, you know, all your records have a special place in the hearts and minds of 311 fans, including myself. But From Chaos has a unique and really special place for me in terms of, I guess, lyrically, melodically. It matched with the timing. It's if I had to pick a favorite record of yours, if I had to, it would be that one. But I know there's also some unique elements to the record, like the first one where you guys had the Hive, right? Like the first time you recorded there as your home base. If my facts are correct there, what do you remember from being in the Hive in 2000, 2001, recording From Chaos? How different is it now than the Hive of that year?
Well, yeah, I think really what happened is, yeah, we got this building around that period of time, either 2000 or 2001. We've developed the studio a lot since then. But actually on From Chaos, even though we did record here and we did have this as our home base, a lot of those tracks, for the bulk of the record anyway, at least the drum tracks, were done at a place called Sound City. And so what we did is we practiced our album before we went on tour. And we went on tour, and since we had been on this schedule where we were going on tour, then we were coming off tour, making songs, and then, you know, trying to record them if they were ready. And if we did go on tour, we took a break, and then we'd get back to recording. But as a musician or an athlete, you kind of realize there's a difference between you being warmed up and cold, you know. So when, you know, just like when sports season starts or a drum corps season starts, they're pretty kind of cold, you know. They're not as good as they're going to be at the end of the season. So it's the same thing with music. And so on this record, we wanted to come off tour and go directly to the studio. And so that's what we did. And of course, we did this with Ron St. Germain. So when we got off tour, I remember going over to Sound City and we laid the bulk of the tracks. Now, there was one exception. At the end of the record, Nick had written one more song. And we already recorded the songs over there. So we didn't have any more time that we were going to go over there. So we recorded Amber here. Amber was the last addition to the record, and we recorded it here at the Hive. And but it's the studio has developed a lot since then. I don't think we had the gear that we have right now right away in 2001. We had to kind of develop it and buy extra gear and change the studio around. And, you know, that was kind of, I think Evolver was the first time we actually did the full project here at the Hive. But From Chaos was one that, it was the first album that we did while we had this Hive. And we did a lot of work here too. I think it was just the drums that were recorded over there, guitar, bass, vocals, they were all recorded at the Hive and stuff. So, and yeah, so we finished the record, and yeah, it turned out good. We were excited, you know, to have our own studio, and it worked out. So
I imagine on Friday there's going to be some moments for you guys, like you were saying, when you're playing these records and they take you back to those years or those times that are applicable to the song at hand, where maybe you'll be thinking about that and how full circle it is to be playing the record in full in your home base there with everyone tuned in. That's going to be pretty special, I think. And you mentioned Amber, and I love when there are stories like that. That the record was done, and then there was just this one more thing that happened at the very end,
Yeah.
and then Amber, we've had some really sweet comments fly in here as you were saying that about Amber being the song people walk down the aisle to, or they have these really significant and special moments in their life that are, thanks in part to a song like that. And obviously you came out the door swinging with You Wouldn't Believe, That You Wouldn't Believe, and then I'll Be Here a While. But what makes From Chaos really special to me are the little, I don't want to call them little, but the gems within, like,
Right.
the melodies of Hustle Apostle, and that chorus is just so strong. And, seeing people's reaction when you guys play Uncalm live or something like that, just to be there when you're playing it. Champagne is one of my favorite songs of all time. Like those little moments of From Chaos to me are pretty unique. Does that record feel like that for you too?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess that was our sixth record, and they all have their individuality about them, And but yeah, we were just kind of doing what we always do, which is kind of putting together music that was natural to us at the time, and not really trying to emulate any other record or any other success that we had. And so, each record has sort of its own identity, basically. And yeah, it was just another step in the progress of what we were attempting to do. And but yeah, right now, just thinking about that time period, is 20 years ago. It's pretty crazy, So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I guess it's 20 years ago, this year. So but yeah, it takes me back, and gives you gives you feelings and vibes of what it used to be and how things were back then. And so that's kind of the trip for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other interesting thing about this stream on Friday and From Chaos, that this year it signifies the 20th anniversary of the record. Do you
Right.
guys, take moments like that to internally or as a group to huddle up and to give a little cheers to the 20th anniversary of a record or a moment like that?
I wouldn't say so. No. Sometimes you just barely catch it. You just barely are like, hey, what year is it? Oh, wait. Oh my God. From Chaos is 20 years old. No way. So it's not like we have these marked on our calendars, and I'm sure some album anniversaries have just kind of passed us by, big ones, not like, hey, this is the 13th year this has been out, but like 10 years or 20 years. But yeah, no, sometimes I'll barely remember. Sometimes I'll be on the bus with Peanut and he'll just be like, hey, today's the the release date of Transistor, 20 years ago or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay. So no, it's hard to keep up with everything, and timelines like that. But it's not something we do, but we are very appreciative and thankful, that we've gotten to the point where, we're all still around and all together and can talk about, a record we released 25 years ago or 20 years ago. So that feels pretty cool, except about the age thing, but it's pretty cool otherwise, pretty intense. You're like, that stuff goes by pretty quick. So
Well, it's funny with the age thing, because if you were to put you guys next to some of the bands that are 19 years old, you probably look a lot younger and better than the bulk of them. So age means nothing here.
yeah.
When we announced that we're going to be talking with you today and that we'd be focusing on From Chaos on Friday and stuff, I can't tell you how many comments and feedbacks and letters or notes that I got that talked about your drumming style and how much how much you influenced certain musicians in terms of their style of playing drums, or how you inspired them to pick up sticks, or it was really unique feedback because we don't often get comments about people talking about their musicianship themselves. We get a lot of comments about people talking about being fans of the band and how much they love the band. But in terms of people talking about you inspiring them to be a drummer or your drum style was a really cool thing to see. So for the drummers in the room here, and we're talking about From Chaos, do you have any recollection, or what are some things that you may have tried on that record that were new to you? Or do you remember maybe a drum fill or a sound or something when working on the record in the studio that you either challenged yourself with, or it's kind of like an inside drummer scoop to that time period?
Well, I always kind of have the same approach to the records. You know, I always have kind of what I call a naturalistic, or just very natural sort of approach to the music that we do in terms of the drums and the drum parts. So I try and keep, I guess, purposeful or any sort of agenda, and there's always the exception. You know, nothing's kind of straight across the board, but I always just have a natural approach to what's going on, because I want to fit the music and I want to kind of keep my brain out of it. You know, I want to do what the music is telling me. And so I think really the best thing a drummer can do is listen, instead of try to, you know, output all the time and putting out and having all these great ideas analytically, to kind of just be more in the moment and try and kind of let things happen, especially if you're musical and especially if you can listen really well. So I think playing through the record one time, if I'm not mistaken, I noticed, wow, there's not very many tom fills on this record. So I remember, I guess there's one in Wake Your Mind Up. And of course, there's not any like on Amber. There's one great roll in Champagne, at the end of Champagne. But there's not a lot of tom work, you know, so I'm really just trying to supplement the music with the beats and everything. And you know, the only danger to doing stuff like that is that you could simplify too much, because you do get it to a certain point after being natural with it, that maybe you do want to start applying some ideas on purpose and analytically to try and do something musically, you know. And that's it. That if I do that, that happens at the end of building the drum parts. Like, well, you know, I better add this, or there's a transition that could be better. And every now and then I'm like, you know, there's too many bass drum notes. I got to remove some of those bass drum notes, you know. So sometimes you remove stuff, sometimes you add stuff, but in terms of like an actual, what I would call like musical agenda in terms of drum parts and stuff, I don't really go about it that way. And I guess the drawback sometimes is you didn't develop it enough. And maybe that might have happened on a couple things on this record. I'm not sure. I have to play it again. But yeah, it's that's the only danger in doing it that way. So you just try and balance all that out. But I am completely honored that people would say that I inspired their drumming or inspired them some way musically, because that's something that just goes around. You know, people inspired me, players inspired me to do what I do, and I'm just happy to be in the position that people would say, you know, that I inspired them, just like someone inspired me. So it's just a big kind of circle thing that goes around, and to be part of that circle anywhere on the circle is just an honor for me.
That's true. Well put. That's very well said. And it's, you know, you guys have always had a message of positivity and unity, and you know, when you see the individual parts or the individual approaches or even the lyrics, you know, it makes sense, and you know that you guys are coming from a place of such sincerity. But you know what's also interesting about From Chaos record is on the, you know, on the cover, From Chaos is probably one of the more aggressive titles of a 311 record. You know, obviously the back end of that lyric is "From chaos comes clarity," you know. But From Chaos and the lyrically what you guys were approaching in that record is a little bit maybe more aggressive at certain points, in tackling major issues, and whether it's stuff you guys were going through or stuff individually. That's kind of cool too, to think about it, like, you know, because one thing Nick and I've always talked about is how you guys, you're so optimistic and positive, but you also are not afraid to address and tackle the challenges that come with being like that. And I think From Chaos is a really good example of that attitude, if that even makes sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, those were, you know, back in those days, it was sort of getting to be sort of strange, you know, in terms of society and stuff, in terms of what was going on. And so, but yeah, From Chaos is more, maybe less artistic and more, you know, I guess analytical or something. I don't know, but it's good. Yeah, you learn a lot, you know, you learn a lot doing these things. And like I said, there's stuff that, yeah, I mean, being the positive band and everything, you know, and applying our music in that sort of way, there was always the tendency to uh I guess not maybe take us serious so much or something like that, like poking fun that we were, you know, trying to be positive. But obviously, and I think we all can agree at this point that pretty much that's what the world probably needs more of. Not more aggression, not more depression, but more positivity. And so we've been happy to be a part of that movement, you know, even if people were poking fun or whatever. So it's cool. At this point, I'm not sure if clarity comes from chaos anymore, but it's a good philosophy to research. And and so, like I said, you learn a lot. We put our best foot forward for the record, and it turned out pretty good, you know, and especially because we were working with Ron St. Germain, and we had some good success off this record, you know, and just starting off the new, you know, 2000s, which was so new to everybody back then. So, but it's yeah, it turned out good. I'm happy we take the position of positivity at this point. You know, at times you might have got frustrated about people poking fun of you for being, you know, for being so positive. And but that's also, that just wasn't like sort of a thing that, hey, we're going to decide we do that. That's actually how we were living when we were teenagers in our young 20s. We were just out enjoying ourselves, trying to think of the most positive things so we could have the best time that we could possibly have. It was real easy. It seems real easy for people to concentrate on negative things or concentrate on things that aren't going right. But there's always the other side of the coin. So if you can just balance that out, and that's what we've tried to do with the music, to show people you just try and balance it out and move forward. And if you make good choices and are positive, life has no option but to grant you the benefits of those choices, barring accidents, of course. And of course, if you want to concentrate on the negative, then life has no choice but to grant you the consequences of your negative choices. It's that simple. Barring accidents, you know, you get hit by a bus, you're doing everything right, you're making the right choice, you get hit by a bus, yeah, barring accidents. But I think we just tried to teach people that, and we've tried to live that way. And like I said, there's always the exception. No one's perfect, you know, life is difficult, as you'll learn getting getting older. But you don't have to concentrate on that. You just have to push forward and make your best choices and stay positive. And usually things turn out the best for you. So yeah, I'm proud that we've selected that lane to ride in for, you know, for our musical entity that we created. So it's I think over time it has helped people, you know, because those are the letters that we receive, and some of those letters we get are just mind blowing. Just, you would never know that music can do that for people, you know, or I wouldn't. Even being a musician, you believe in the power of music, but until you see these letters, it's like, oh my God, like I had no idea. So that kind of also has given us motivation to push through and to continue. And, you know, when we say the fans are a big part of the reason why we continue, they give us the energy and the motivation to do that. It's absolutely true. Because when they write us and tell us what's going on, you almost feel some sort of responsibility that, oh my God, you know, the people kind of, you know, want us in their life or need us in their life, and because it's helping, you know, so you feel some sort of small responsibility, and you kind of keep them in your mind while you're making music. And at this point, that totally pushes us to continue and to go. And it's a big part of why we do what we do. But I don't know if that answers the question, but here we are on a tangent somewhere.
It not only answered the question, but you dropped some really profound lines in there that are so appropriate and so part of what we do of Artist Waves. Artist Waves is all about capturing the ripple effect and illuminating the positivity that comes with these music and these communities that come from, you know, a world like 311. So you guys not only drive in that lane, but you pioneer that lane. So I think we're all very grateful to be in a position to be a part of that. And man, that was really well said, and some really great info to remind people of. I got to ask you one more thing about the record specifically in terms of Amber, and we talked a little bit about it, but Amber obviously has been such a highlight in your career to this point, and you know it's still on radio all the time, every day, and it means there's been so many people that have written some really nice things about the song and what it means to them. You mentioned it was the last song written for that record as a kind of a last minute add-on.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a kind of a two-part question. One is, did you know when you're recording that record and you have that song, did you know, or can you ever know, like, hey, you know what, this is going to be special for us. This is going to be different. This is going to be special. And then the flip side of that question is, as I said, everyone's been kind enough to drop some Amber mementos in these comments, but I'm curious, what's the Amber moment for you guys? You know, like what is Amber to 311? So kind of a two-part loaded question about the history of the song, of when you recorded it, and then you know, did you know, and then kind of what it means to you now.
Right. Well, no, when we recorded it, you know, it was almost like, damn it, you know, I just recorded all the songs over there. You know, I wanted all the drum tracks to be consistent and stuff. So I was like, damn, I wish we didn't add another song. And so we did it here, and it, you know, it turned out really good. You know, Saint, for those with a technical ear, had great technical tools he was doing in here, even though we were kind of limited on gear, and was doing some great compression techniques on that song. So it kind of set it apart, you know, and helped it that if it ever made it to radio, the techniques he was doing was just going to help it be successful on the radio. And I know that's kind of technical, but anyway, it was, you know, it was kind of like, oh man, I wish we would have had this song when I went over to Sound City. But none of us knew, as none of us have known this entire time, what was going to be successful or not on the radio. And we kind of had a, what would you call it, like a pattern going, where on the Blue record, we had released, you know, 2 songs to radio, and they kind of did okay. And then when we released our 3rd one, Down, it kind of went big. And it's sort of the same thing here. I know we released You Wouldn't Believe, and I think we released something else, and then Amber. So it was like, wow, 3 times the charm, you know, for us. But that's, yeah, Amber wasn't the first one that was released, you know, because no one really knew that it would be a hit. So it's kind of a surprise to everyone when, in our camp anyway, when we have success at radio, or did. And now, you know, I guess we know how big the song has got, and we know that when we play a live show, we pretty much have to include this song, because when we play a show, and we've been around this long, you're going to get all sorts of different type of fans at your show. You're going to get fans that maybe don't have every record and just know you from the videos on YouTube. Or you have a fan that knows every single thing you've ever done and has every record and everything else. So obviously we're trying to balance the show to give something to everybody. So that's why, generally speaking, we try and play most of the hits at our shows, but then we try and change it up with songs that we take away or add. And, you know, by doing that on some tours, on some summer tours, we have ended up playing like, you know, 93 total songs before on the entire tour, you know. So we really do switch it up. We try and keep every type of fan in mind. And we've played that song a lot, you know, but for me, you know, it might not be that I'm so excited to play a song for the 1 millionth time or anything, but the good thing, the lucky thing about our music, or some of the drum lines and this, I always look forward to trying to play it the best I can. And it's always somewhat of a challenge, you know. It's always, if it's because of the stage, or because of the sound system, or because of the altitude, whatever it is, there's always maybe something that's added to your show live that makes it a different challenge to play it, you know, like you played it on the record, and to make sure it grooves, and to make sure you're playing it the best you can. So that's what keeps my interest going about it. That's why I can put my full heart, my full energy into what I'm doing, even though I've played the song, you know, like everyone in the band has, like 1 million times. But for me, I enjoy the musical challenge of trying to do it the best I can to this day, you know. So luckily that exists. Otherwise we'd be having a problem probably, you know. But it's yeah, so I don't know about the other guys, but yeah, it's just sort of a good challenge, you know, when we put that song on the set. And we play it every show, you know, because I remember there was one show where Tim says, this girl came up to me and was like, you guys didn't play Amber. You didn't play Amber, almost in tears. And ever since then, it was like, oh shit, okay, well, we better play that every day, you know, or every show, because it's just, like I said, we've been a band, you know, if you were a new band, it wouldn't really matter. It's just when you become an older band, it's the different types of fans that you have are just very, it's a wide range of different folks. So that's kind of where we've landed on that. But but we're real happy that it was successful, and it was our most successful song. So
Well deserved, and people are going to have some special moments Friday night when they hear it played live, see it played live from the comforts of their home, or if they're lucky enough with some fellow fans or family members to celebrate with. So really appreciate all your time and your insight on not only Amber but the whole From Chaos record and what it means to you guys and what everyone can expect on Friday night. It's going to be a blast. By the way, I got to ask you, if you don't mind me asking, what room are we in the Hive here? Is this the lounge? Are we in the Hive?
No. This is the control room.
The control room.
This is where all the background info happens. This is the board.
Word. All right. Cool.
The soundboard. This is let me see if I can get this. This is all the gear over here for the stream and all the cameras and stuff. Here's this sweet ass computer over here. And then here, don't look at this real quick. Hold on. Here's the tape machine right there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. So
love
we're in what you call the control room.
Love it. Love it. Well, thanks for the tour. We got a nod from the Ranch Bowl in the comments and questions there too.
Right.
Omaha style in the house. So, as you guys say, to open From Chaos, this is happening. This here is life. Friday night, it's happening. That's life. And I know you guys got some exciting things on tap for the remainder of the year. For everyone to keep an eye on all your socials and all your posts on Instagram and stuff. But for now, we'll all be together Friday night. And might Shaq make an appearance? Could there be a Shaquille O'Neal sighting at some point during You Wouldn't Believe? Or
I'm not sure about that.
Maybe not live, but I'll bet he'll be tuning in. He loves some Shaq memories too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chad, thanks so much, man. I'll let you get back to your rehearsal there in the Hive, and then we'll all be in the room with you on Friday night.
Awesome, man. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks to everyone. From Chaos Friday night. This was Chad Sexton with Artist Waves, and we'll see you then.
Thanks.
Peace. Thank you. All right. Chad Sexton, 311, talking about From Chaos with me here on Artist Waves Live on Monday, May 10th. That was a blast. Chad is always very insightful and gave some real great details on one of my favorite records of all time, From Chaos by 311, and they are playing it Friday night. It's 311livestream.com, 311livestream.com, From Chaos. And as they say, nice shirt, thank you. Stay positive. The back says love your life. This is a 311 shirt. They sing it. They preach it. They embody it. Man, we had some really sweet comments and some really nice feedback in these along the way here in that conversation with Chad, and people sending some nice thoughts and giving some moments about what the record and Amber and everything means to them. So thank you. That makes the conversation that much more enjoyable. It makes it that much more engaging, that much more intimate. So, man, as they're grateful and appreciative, so am I for all of the people that continue to chat and to engage in these types of conversations. Really, I was wearing this shirt a lot, and that has a lot to the past year. It has a lot to do with, what it means and to do what Chad said, to stay positive and to just be in the moment and make the music steer the way. So thanks, everybody. I'm Jeff Gora. This was Artist Waves Live, episode 50. All we were trying to do was stay positive in these conversations, and I think we've done it. So Champagne, yes. Champagne is one of my favorite songs of all time. Champagne, California on the Brain, Friday night while I watch From Chaos, and I'll see you all there, right? I'll see you all there on the live stream Friday night, and then we'll be back next week with another episode of AW Live, another interview. Thank you. Thanks, 311. Thanks, Chad.
Underneath the waves, I will
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.